Video captures Browns QB Shedeur Sanders confronting reporter. Video circulating on social media shows Shedeur Sanders confronting a Cleveland Browns beat reporter following Friday's 30-10 win against the Carolina Panthers. Sanders passed for 138 yards and a pair of touchdowns in the win, playing the majority of the game. His primary competitors for the starting job in Cleveland, Joe Flacco, Dillon Gabriel, and Kenny Pickett, were inactive for the preseason opener. After his breakout performance, Sanders ran into Tony Grossi of ESPN Cleveland and let his feelings out. "Tony, I be hoping you have something positive to say about me. You always say negative stuff about me. I've never seen you say anything positive about me. And I'm like, I ain't done nothing to you," Sanders said before cracking a smile and walking away. "What did I do?" In Grossi's defense, he did have something good to say after Sanders' strong preseason outing. "I thought Shedeur was outstanding," Grossi said during an appearance on ESPN Cleveland following the game. Grossi, a longtime journalist covering the Browns in Cleveland, is no stranger to confrontations with quarterbacks in Cleveland. He famously clashed with Baker Mayfield multiple times during the number 1 overall pick's tenure with the Browns. Browns QB Shedeur Sanders focused on making change in Cleveland. Sanders slid in the draft from a projected early first-round pick to the 5th round. He's the number 4 quarterback on the depth chart, but Sanders has been focused on being a catalyst for positive change in Cleveland. He felt like he accomplished that goal with his first preseason start. "Me coming here, my vow is to definitely make change, and change was made," Sanders said. "I was very thankful, very excited being out there with the O-line and everything like that. I was so thankful being out there with them. Receivers and everybody did their part, and I feel like everybody believed." Sanders had a high-profile college career at Colorado, so he's used to pressure. Sanders said that he had never dealt with nerves before his big preseason opportunity. However, he admitted there's room for improvement. "I felt like I knew the answers to the test. I know I'm ready for the moment," Sanders said. "Did I play up to par? No, I don't feel like I did, but overall the main goal was to win, and that's honestly what we did." Browns not committing to more reps for Shedeur Sanders. Sanders enters the next wave of training camp with some momentum following his start. He has yet to see any reps with the starting offense. Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski declined to say if Sanders' performance earned him some time with the first-team unit. "We need to get through the next couple days from an injury standpoint and see where everybody is. I'm really focused on all of our quarterbacks' development and every single one of these reps like they are last night, how important they are," Stefanski said on Saturday after watching the game tape. "So that's what I'm focused on more than anything. Part of that equation is the health of their QB group. Pickett and Gabriel have been limited by hamstring injuries, and their return timeline is still uncertain." "Good question. We'll see," Stefanski said on the health of Gabriel and Pickett. "I'll know more over the next couple days." The Browns' next preseason game is on August 16th against the Philadelphia Eagles. The sides will also have some joint practices together. The clip is only 45 seconds long, but in Cleveland, it might as well have been a blockbuster movie trailer. Late Thursday night, just hours after the Browns wrapped up their preseason game against the Chicago Bears, a shaky cell phone video began making the rounds on social media. At first, the footage seemed ordinary, a post-game scrum in the bowels of First Energy Stadium, with reporters gathered around Cleveland's rookie quarterback, Shedeur Sanders. But then the tone shifted. The moment everyone's talking about. In the video, Sanders is standing in front of his locker, helmet tucked under one arm, answering questions about his performance. He looks calm, collected, still in his sweat-soaked undershirt. A handful of cameras are rolling. That's when a reporter, later identified as Jeff Daly from the Cleveland Chronicle, leans in with a pointed question. "Some critics are saying your success tonight was just a product of the play calling, and that you haven't proven you can read an NFL defense yet. How do you respond to that?" The locker room goes still. Teammates nearby glance up. Sanders pauses for a beat, tilting his head like he's deciding whether to laugh it off or address it head-on. Then he steps forward, not aggressively but deliberately, closing the space between himself and Daly. "You've been here all camp, right?" Sanders says, his voice even. "You've seen the practices. You've seen the tape. You know what I do out there." Daly mumbles something about just asking the tough questions, but Sanders doesn't flinch. "Tough questions are fine," he says, "but don't act like I'm just out there reading a script. I study. I work. I put in hours when no one's watching. That's not a system, that's me. The exchange ends with Sanders turning back to the rest of the group, taking the next question as if nothing happened. How it blew up. By midnight, the video had been posted by a Browns fan account on Twitter with the caption, "Shedeur ain't taking no disrespect, fire #Browns." Within an hour, it had over 50,000 views. By morning, ESPN was replaying the clip on loop, with pundits debating whether Sanders had crossed a line or simply stood his ground. Some fans loved it, calling it a sign of leadership and confidence. Others wondered if it was a rookie mistake to confront a member of the media so directly. Either way, no one could deny one thing. Shedeur Sanders had just become the center of Cleveland's sports conversation again. The backstory. To understand why the moment resonated so much, you have to know the build-up. All summer long, Sanders had faced whispers about whether he was NFL ready. Despite a strong showing in training camp, certain local media members, Daly among them, questioned his ability to handle complex defensive schemes. Daly had been particularly vocal in print, writing a column just last week titled, "The Sanders Hype is Outpacing Reality." In it, he claimed that Sanders' arm strength and footwork were solid, but his ability to make quick reads remained unproven at the pro level. When Sanders completed 14 of 18 passes for 165 yards and a touchdown against the Bears, it should have silenced the doubters. Instead, Daly's question seemed to suggest that the rookie's big night was more about head coach Kevin Stefanski's play design than Sanders' own skill. For Sanders, that was the breaking point. Teammates weigh in. By Friday afternoon, several Browns players had been asked about the incident. Wide receiver Amari Cooper shrugged it off. "He's just telling the truth," Cooper said. "If you put in the work, you've got the right to defend yourself. That's not drama, that's honesty." Linebacker Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah went even further. "You want a quarterback who's going to stand up for himself," he said. "That's how you know he'll stand up for us on the field, too."